Welcome to the very first YouTube video on the Jackson Durham NFL YouTube channel. You might be familiar with me from my TikTok work where I do a lot of mock drafts, a lot of NFL history stuff, and we're going to be posting more over here on YouTube, especially given all the uncertainty on TikTok. And I thought what better way to get it started than a top 10 mock draft for 2024. There are a lot of really interesting picks in the top 10. A lot of these teams could do a lot of different things. So let's go ahead and get it started with the very first overall pick, which I think is a sealed deal, and that's going to be Caleb Williams going first overall to the Chicago Bears. I think he's one of the best quarterback prospects we've seen since guys like Andrew Luck and Trevor Lawrence. I think he's surefire, or as close as it gets to surefire. Second overall, I've gone back and forth on. I think the Washington Commanders could trade out of this spot. I don't think it would be a terrible idea. I know a lot of you guys aren't huge fans of it, but I think there's so many holes on this roster that drafting a guy like Drake May or a guy like Jayden Daniels doesn't solve enough of those problems in one fell swoop for you. But this time we are going to stay put and take Drake May. And that's going to leave the New England Patriots to take the type of offer I've suggested that the Commanders could take in the past, and that's going to be coming from the Minnesota Vikings, an 11, a 23, a 108 in the first round in next year's draft, all to take that third overall pick. And that's really going to allow the Patriots to build out their roster. I don't think they're quite ready to draft a QB, maybe even less so than the Commanders are. So they'll move back. Maybe there's a QB for them at 11, maybe not. Maybe they have to do it next year. But I think all of this draft capital really helps you build your roster the right way and gets Jerod Mayo and that new regime off to the right start that they need. So we're going to go ahead and make this move. And, oh wait, hang on, force the trade. PFF is not a fan of this trade. So we're going to force it through, resume the draft. The PFF trade calculator, it doesn't like to give up too much value. You got to give up a lot of value if you're coming up to select a QB like they are. Obviously, I don't have control over them. I should have done that. Jayden Daniels is the quarterback that I would have taken, though the CPU knows exactly what we're doing. Marvin Harrison Jr., I think, is a no-brainer for the Cardinals at number 4, given the moves they've made this offseason, letting Marquise Brown go to the Chiefs, not really prioritizing Rondale Moore, trading him away to the Atlanta Falcons. You've got to have somebody to catch passes from Kyler Murray, and that's going to be a generational talent like Marvin Harrison Jr. Another team who has not prioritized keeping their receivers this offseason is the LA Chargers, sitting on the number 5 overall pick. They let Mike Williams get out of town after they cut him. They had to do that for cap reasons, but there was an opportunity to bring him back after trading away Keenan Allen, and they couldn't do it. He ended up signing with the Jets today, so now you're almost sealed into drafting Malik Nabers, in my opinion. 6th overall, I have heard a lot of J.J. McCarthy noise, and I wouldn't hate that for the Giants. I do think moving on to a new QB could be the right move for them, but I honestly don't think that's what they intend to do. I think they're trying to build a smokescreen, trying to get some trade value going on their pick, but if it doesn't come, I think they're going to draft Rome Odunze. I think they love him. 7th overall, Joe Alt to the Tennessee Titans is the easiest pick in this draft. If he is on the board, you need a protector like that for Will Levis. 8th overall, this is another really easy for me. Dallas Turner to the Atlanta Falcons. I have loved that fit since I started doing these mock drafts. I think it might be my favorite pick. Number 9, the Chicago Bears. You could trade out of this spot, but I don't think we're going to take any chances. We really want a guy like Byron Murphy II in the middle of our defensive line, so we'll go ahead and draft him. Brock Bowers is a great landing spot for the New York Jets. New York Jets are a great landing spot for Brock Bowers, who I've really struggled with finding a spot for in this draft. He's a tricky prospect for me because so many of these teams in the top 10, because he's a top 10 caliber prospect. I think he's really, really good. But so many of these teams in the top 10, when you look at the board, they just don't need a tight end.